Okay, so the next video up in the series is the pale green horse of the apocalypse. Um, it's the fourth seal, the pale green horseman, characterized by the sword, pestilence, famine, and death for a quarter of the earth. Um, Around this time, at the 3.5 year mark, I believe the two witnesses will begin, and there will be continued wars, and there will be a lot of other things during this time, leading to a lot of lawlessness, robbing and pillaging, etc., and famine. I believe that the Black Horseman comes to a head at this point, and supplies completely run out, which would make sense. So if the third seal is massive inflation to food costs and somewhat famine, in fact, the translators of a lot of Bible translations describe the Black Horseman as famine in the section title. So this is going to be famine turned up to 10, and this will usher in the Antichrist, who will promise to fix everything, who will say, I know why this all happened, I have the answers, I'm going to take over control of the whole world and solve all of these problems, I've got this in my back pocket, no problem. So all of this really is intended to set the stage for him to come on and solve everything. So it's all being artificially set up in order to make everyone desperate, seeking out a hero, someone who can solve all of these problems, and he'll come around and solve it. During this time also, I believe the pandemic will hit a crescendo as well, and be turned up to 10. So whatever we've seen now is just a hint of what's going to be coming during this particular seal. And presumably bioweapons will be released and start to really take out large amounts of the population, as well as the sword is involved. And I can read the section. Right here it says, Then I looked and saw a pale green horse. Its rider's name was Death, and Hades followed close behind. And they were given authority over a fourth of the earth to kill by sword, by famine, and by plague, and by beasts of the earth. And beasts of the earth is referring to people who are unprincipled, wild people. So it's going to kill in a variety of methods. And authority over a fourth of the earth presumably means that a fourth of the earth, God has given permission to the pale green horseman to kill in the way it would prefer. So whatever hedge of protection was there by God, because God holds back lawlessness. God doesn't permit everything. He allows a lot of wickedness to happen, but he restrains it to some extent. So he's giving full permission to wipe out a fourth of the earth here, is my reading of that. And like I said, that's going to cause the earth to be widely open to some heroic figure stepping on the scene to solve everything. So it would make sense that this pale green horseman is occurring right up to and then maybe during the very start of the Antichrist taking the stage. So I believe that there might be some overlap there, and the Antichrist is going to put an end to the pale green horseman and come out a hero because of it. We know the Antichrist steps onto the scene at the 3.5 year mark, and he reigns for 42 months. And I'll prove that here. Okay. The beast was given a mouth to speak arrogant and blasphemous words and authority to act for 42 months. This is referring to the beast from the sea, which is the Antichrist, but it's also his system. He's the boasting little horn that comes forth from the beast of the sea. 10 kings give the beast his authority. And the beast from the sea has 7 heads, represent 7 kingdoms, and it has 10 horns, representing 10 something. 7 heads, 10 horns. Let's see. 7 heads, 10 horns, Bible Hub. Okay, then I saw a beast with 10 horns and 7 heads rising out of the sea. There were 10 royal crowns on its horns and blasphemous names on its heads. Okay, so I believe there's another section where it describes what each of the horns are, what each of the heads are, but suffice to say that's not the focus of what I'm saying. The focus is that it's originally a beast system. So the beast system is on Earth prior to the point where the little horn that's boasting, which I'll show you that part. Okay, it had 10 horns. So that's confirmation of the 10 horns we just saw in Revelation. 7 heads, 10 horns, yeah. So this is the same beast, okay, and while I was contemplating the horns, suddenly another horn, a little one, came up among them, and 3 of the first horns were uprooted before it. This horn had eyes like those of a man and a mouth that spoke words of arrogance. Remember we just heard boasting, arrogant words? So that's the Antichrist, that little horn that rises up. And it's coming forth, it's like a uniting of these 10 heads and 7 horns into a single spokesman of this system. So the first beast, the second beast is the false prophet. The first beast is a system, a group of governing authorities who give their power to a single authority. And so that we could take that as it's like the United Nations appointing a single guy to be the world ruler. And so he takes the stage for 42 months. And that will be at the 3.5 year mark. So I'm arguing that that makes perfect sense then for the pale green horse to lead us up to that 3.5 year mark. And then he begins to solve the problems. Although maybe it doesn't all get solved immediately, he works towards solving it and secures his power as he successfully solves it. Now these problems are being engineered, presumably, according to my reading. So the same people engineering it are then going to engineer a stop to it. Like the artificial supply line crashes, artificial droughts, artificial crop failures, everything's being organized to try to bring in all of these horsemen. So I do go into greater depth on this pale green horseman on my original recording, but as we had to do with the red horseman, which is getting into some of the same arguments I'm making about some of the very specific nefarious things that are coming to place during these horsemen, according to my understanding of things going on right now, and I believe we're in the third seal Black Horseman right now. So I would be censored off YouTube if I said some of the things I said in that original video. So I'm going to link that video in the description, and that will have a more thorough expounding on why I believe the pale green horseman is coming up and how that plays into everything. I wanted to still give a brief synapse or a brief explanation of the pale green horseman, which I just did, to put onto YouTube in a way that wouldn't be censored, so that people that aren't willing to click on a link in the description can at least see something. But there's certain things I want to say that I cannot say on YouTube because of the censorship. So I'll be linking that full video in the description. It will be hosted by BitChute.com, which is a YouTube alternative that doesn't have the censorship. And a lot of YouTubers who talk about current events and how they may play into biblical prophecies are uploading to either Rumble.com or BitChute.com certain things they can't say on YouTube because of the censorship. So they'll have a YouTube channel and a BitChute channel. The BitChute channel, they'll put the things that get censored. The YouTube channel, they'll put the things they can say that do not get censored. And I've seen that on many, many channels that cover end times current events. And so I'm doing the same thing. This way we can still reach audiences with a nice chunk of things on YouTube, but then certain things have to be offshored, so to speak. So I encourage you guys to actually click on that. I didn't see many people click on my BitChute link on the Red Horse video. If you didn't, please go back to that and click on it. And then please watch this one too, if you're interested in this series. I mean, I also see a lot of people don't watch the whole video. So, if you want to hear what I have to say, please just watch the entire thing. Stop being so impatient. Make the time. Otherwise, just don't even click at all. Alright, peace out, guys.